Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Wednesday. I hope everyone has had a pretty good week so far and preparing themselves for the end of August. I know I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and boy, I'm really glad to see September start to roll in and possibly to get away from these three triple digits. We've just breaking all kinds of records out here today. So I come to you today because I want to talk about I'm starting my Zoom classes. And the first of those classes that starts this Saturday or Sunday, you may choose either class, either day that you would like. But we're starting a class called Anchoring in the Light. It's anchoring in the light of God, and God is however you see that being, whatever is comfortable for you. This is a non-denominational class. There's nothing in it that you would find offensive if you were of another particular religion, but it is non-denominational. And so when we speak of anchoring in this light, we're talking about anchoring ourselves in a consciousness of faith. Faith is a state of being, to be sure. And people will always tell you, oh, you have to have faith. Oh, you need to have faith when you do this. You need to have faith in what you're doing. But nobody really understands what faith really is and what it takes to achieve it. Faith, as I said, is a state of mind. And because it's a state of being and a state of mind, it is, by its very essence, vibration. And faith has a different vibration than any of the other activities. And so in anchoring in the light, we look at 9 principles of conscious awareness. Each one of these principles is prefaced by be still and know. And you must know, because knowing is of the heart. Knowing is wisdom. Everything else is of the intellect. Belief is of the intellect. I think is of the intellect. But when we know from our heart. And it is an emotion. And contrary to what some of you may believe, it is the heart that tells the brain and the intellect what to think and how to think. And then, of course, the brain starts to lay down the neural pathways that create the habitual habit and the way of thinking that comes back again to the way of feeling, and it sort of feels like a loop. But it originates in the heart. That is our center of wisdom. That is our state of being. That is where everything starts. And everything is a cooperative effort. All aspects of the body work together in synchronization and without your input. So as we move into this, I had noticed that I've started to get a lot of emails from people who bought Anchoring in the Light quite a few years back, and they have lost it through moving, different things going around, life happens, and they've asked me if I had another copy. And fortunately, I've had a few copies left, even though this particular book has now been added and put on DVD. So I don't have any more hard copies. However, those of you out there that might want a hard copy instead of a CD, I will be giving you the information a little later in this video, and you can then get with me and get a copy of the book if you so desire. The Zoom, I want to take a step back and just say I started teaching this class in the mid-1990s in Atlanta. And at the time I was doing classes, I was doing 4-hour workshops, 2 a day on the weekends. And what would always happen after a class, and particularly this one was no exception, was someone or several someones would say, okay, this was really great. I really loved it. I took a lot of notes. Now where's the book? Or when are you going to do a book? And I'd go, there's no book. This is the class. All of my classes are pretty much off the top of my head because I'm channeling as I'm teaching. And so I thought, wow, I don't know. This is not a book. I don't know it's ever going to be a book. And it took me a long, long time. I actually didn't get around to writing Anchoring in the Light of God until, I think probably 2007, 2008. before I really started writing things down and sort of getting things in some kind of order. It is part of anchoring. It is part of Life by Design. My, I guess you would call it my signature book, my flagship book that covers three aspects of being. You understand and you create your own reality. Once you know you create your own reality, removing the emotional blackmailers in your life, those stumbling blocks, those beautiful people that don't mean to but interfere with your growth. And the last part is, of course, anchoring in the light of God, because you then are ready to make your connection, a connection that is going to take you through the rest of your being. And so this became my flagship book. However, this was a separate class, and of course, it's taught separately. So I started to think as to why I was getting these emails. And even in my practice, my coaching practice, I started getting the same kind of thing. And I started noticing that people are really, really, really uneasy right now. And understandably so. We're moving from a dense three-dimensional energy, which is very dense, very heavy, very plotting, if you will, to fifth dimensional energy, which is very light, that is rapid. The movement is rapid. It's not really necessarily the time is speeding up per se, but our awareness is. And it makes it feel like time is just moving so rapidly. But we are vibrating at a higher rate. And of course, this is causing a lot of issues for those people in the third dimension. It's very difficult sometimes when you are a very plotting, heavy, dense energy to grasp that lighter, faster energy. It causes a little disconcertion. So we're having a lot of that, and of course this is being intensified. We started Gaia, planet Earth, started moving into the fifth dimension in the 90s. She has not completed this. This is a long process, but she will be completing it. I predict in the next 5 or 6 years, maybe 7 years. I don't have an exact timetable on it, but we're pretty close. So things are intensifying, and they're going to intensify even more. So as the popular saying goes, hang on to your knickers, because it's going to be a wild ride. Now, since the whole universe is at choice, there are those that will choose to stay in the third dimensional energy. That is fine. You will have the experiences of 3D. Those that choose to go on to the fifth dimensional will also will roll into the fifth dimension with the planet. Now, how that's going to play out, I don't know. Nobody's told me. My job that I chose, being fifth dimensional energy, I came here from the fifth dimension. And so I have always been. I brought that energy with me. And I've got to tell you that I am really, really glad that the earth is rolling into the fifth dimension, because I do not feel so strange and out of sync as I have for the majority of my life. I seem to be walking to a different drummer. Not only a different drummer, I had a whole different orchestra going on. And I waded through it. Fortunately, my guides and things knew that I really was not going to have anybody per se that could kind of guide me and help me, so they stayed with me and helped me through my crisis times in my early 20s and 30s and 40s when I was just all over the map. But they hung in there, and I finally started to settle down and settle into the role that I selected, that I chose. Everything is a choice. We are never forced to do anything by any other celestial being. Even you have to ask for assistance. They don't even jump in and help you with your lessons unless they are specifically invited. This really is a big thing with the universe. Free will, all over the place. And so as we move, this anchoring in the light helps you do just that. Anchor yourself. My role, as I saw it, is to the people that I work with, my books, my workshops, my classes are all about connecting you to your source. They're all about that. Connecting to you to your source. Having you understand what that feels like. You are an energy being. You are a celestial being having a human expression. And as such, your essence is energy. So you resonate, you vibrate. And this is what you do. And so everything that comes into your essence comes from a place of resonating and comes from a place of vibration, which goes back to our feeling nature. So in this class, in these 9 principles of knowing, conscious awareness principles 1 through 9, we will be talking about it. We will be having some question and answers. These are 90-minute classes for 8 weeks. They start this Saturday, September 2nd. They will go from September 2nd to Sunday, October 22nd will be the last class, which, as I said, you can do either a Saturday or a Sunday. These are eight classes. And as we move through these principles, we'll also be practicing. We'll be doing meditations that allow you to know what each principle feels like to you. How is it sitting in your body? Where is it sitting in your body? So that we can move it to the heart, because it needs to originate from there. But understanding these things, understanding that this is a conscious choice of faith. And as with a lot of the universe, it has 9 aspects, 9 principles. 9 is cosmic completion and spiritual completion. So we have this. We have this collective. Everything in the universe is a collective. Nothing is singular. Even the creator of our being is a collective in singular form. So as we move, and as I noticed all of this going on, I decided when I started getting these emails and things like this, then I decided that this is a really good life raft to throw out to the public, to let you know exactly what's going on, so that you can anchor yourself, so that you can connect yourself to the source of your being and maintain that connection, because you're going to need it. It's going to get interesting from now until we anchor ourselves, until the earth anchors firmly into the 5th dimension. And we'll know when that happens. As I said, I think it's a few years away. I have not asked how many years, because I'm in my now moment and I keep myself pretty connected, pretty anchored. So that keeps me away from worrying about when things are going to happen and what do you do when it happens. You know, the universe has it all in hand. There's a plan. There's a plan for everything, and we needn't really concern ourselves. We need to just live in our now moment, anchor ourselves with our Creator, so that we have that connection, so that when everyone else is running to the ocean and running to the mountains and running here and running there, we can lovingly stand back and watch them run. Lovingly, I say, because never in judgment. Everyone is expressing the way they need to express. Now, as God's in training, because those of us that are headed for the 5th dimension and beyond, many of us have chosen a possibility, probability, and outcome that includes being creators of our own cosmic universe, creating out of ourself, just as our Creator created us out of itself. Now, that doesn't mean that our head is going to be higher than our Creator, because that's not possible. You can never surpass that from which you originate, no matter what arrogance and ego wants to tell you. That's not the case. You know, as a parent, one of the things we laugh about is our children really think they're smarter than we are. Now, on a spiritual realm, possibly so. But as far as human things, the things that they try to do, the little things they try to get away with, you just have to laugh because you did it. So you're never going to outfox me on a path that I've already walked. And so that is the same. that even when we get to a point where we are actually creating planets and stars and cosmic systems out of our own essence, then we have learned unconditional love, absolute compassion, and total non-interference. Because your creation must be allowed to move in its own way, down its own path. Otherwise, how can it bring anything back to you? How can it add to your collective if you are dictating the paths that it walks? So that's not what's going on here. And the universe is ad infinitum. So what a wonderful, wonderful outcome many of us have. And those that choose to stay in the third dimension at this point in time will eventually move forward. I believe that all of life is about evolution. I don't believe that we're here willy-nilly. I don't believe that we're here just to play. And speaking of which, because I am a bona fide magical, mystical unicorn, and play is my first, middle, and last name. So I have really had to bunker down and start to get serious about a lot of things. However, I am never going to lose my sense of fun and enjoyment. And so it's not just about that experiencing, but because we have lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes that we choose to be in human form. So it's got to be about evolving. Now, I don't believe in karma, and I don't believe in karmic debt. But I do follow ancient Egyptian, and I do believe that there is cause and effect. I believe that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. I also believe that we bring things into existence so that we can reconcile them. That's my new word. We're reconciling our lives. We're living in our now moment, but we're reconciling our stuff. Whatever we brought, whatever that stuff looks like. So we want to reconcile it so that we can continue to move forward. And I believe that ultimately that is what it is. We are always about evolving. Because as I said, many of us are evolving to having our own universe and world. And how cool is that? Now, don't get excited because it's eons and eons and eons away. But what does it matter? It's a possibility, a probability, and an outcome. So as we moving into anchoring ourselves, as we moving into creating our cosmic link, so that when everybody's running around losing their senses, we don't, then I have elected to start these classes. Anchoring in the Light will always be one of my ongoing classes. There will always be classes on Anchoring in the Light, even after I finish this 8th series, and I will go on to something else. We will, from time to time, 2 or 3 times in a year, come back to Anchoring in the Light, because I think it's very, very important. I think it's very important that you understand that faith is a state of being, and as such, it is a vibration, a specific vibration that you have to learn and become aware of if you're going to be able to sustain it. So, having said that, I hope you will join me in anchoring in the light of God, a conscious choice of faith, and learn to operate the 9 conscious awareness principles that it takes to complete the state of being that is faith. You can email me, Jade, at orchestratingyourlife.com. Send me an email and let me know you want to participate either Saturday or Sunday. And I will go ahead and send to you the invite. Once you will pay for these classes on Zelle. They're $25 a class. You can pay for an individual class. You can pay for them all at once. It makes no difference to me. It's your choice. You can take it on a Saturday one week, a Sunday another week. That's absolutely fine. You are completely, totally, and absolutely a choice. Classes start at 2. We will go from 2 to 3:30. This is Arizona time. So if you're on the East Coast, you know that's about 5 o'clock for you, I think. If you're around Texas, I know I have a lot of people in Texas. I've already started hearing from them. You are 2 hours ahead of us. Keep that in mind. You're going to start your class at 4. It's 2 o'clock for us here in Arizona. So again, you can email me, Jade, at orchestratingyourlife.com. Send me an email. Give me your full name. On Friday night, the invites will go out from Zoom. These invites will change every week, so every Friday night you will get your Zoom invite for the next class, especially those of you who have decided or will decide that you want to pay for all of your classes at one time or several classes at one time, however you want to do it. We will change the link every Friday evening. Okay, so I hope to see you there. I do know that you will absolutely love the class. It will be a very good tool for you moving into your evolutionary pattern. Namaste.